What is up, CSGs? In this video, I'm going to talk about the Rockets and Jalen Green and the fact that we're never going to lose again. Tap in right now. Enjoy. The Rockets Chop Shop is your one-stop shop for all your basketball needs, for highlights, analysis, podcasts. We do it all here at the Rockets Chop Shop. Make sure you hit the like button on the videos that you watch if you enjoy them. Hit the subscribe button to get notifications from all the great drops that we have on the channel. Also, you can visit the Chop Shop merch store and get you some of the swaggiest gear in the Houston Rockets kingdom. And if you want, you can always support the channel directly through donations. And if you want, you can support us through our partnerships with our sponsors. The Rockets Chop Shop is made by fans, for fans, and we're going to keep rocking and keep dropping that heat.
This is something I know.
So your Houston Rockets are on a 10-game winning streak off of the back of some of the best play in Jalen Green's young career. I mean, I'm at a loss of words. Like, I was watching this game versus the Thunder, and I would say this is probably Jalen's best game of his career. And I keep saying that damn near every game. It's like he just keeps upping the game every time that he plays. He was just controlled, poised. Throughout this game. The Thunder had a really strong game plan coming into the game of trying to trap him. When we set ball screens, and there were a couple of times that he made some errant passes, but overall able to make the correct plays and then still be able to get out of the traps and make plays and make big shots when it counts. This is unreal, honestly. I've never seen somebody make an offensive leap this high within a season in my years watching the NBA. Obviously, a lot of the stuff that he's doing already is not new. The rebounding has been going on for a couple of months. The defense has been really good for about a month and a half before even this stretch. The aggression was getting better. The shots just weren't dropping. And for me, I never look at stats, but even the stats have caught up to the aggression and the attacking. And all of those things are finally come together. And I think he's just in rhythm and playing with confidence right now. And for a player that is a scorer, that is really all you really need at some point. It's just get into a rhythm to be able to play. But a huge game. And to me, one of the best plays he made of the night was the driving kick to Jabari for that big three that Jabari hit to really kind of get us to overtime. And just the awareness to be able to know that the defense is going to be packing into the paint there to kick it out to Jabari. And for Jabari, shout out to him for hitting that shot, because bro was having a stinker. But it don't really matter, how many shots you miss as long as you hit them when it counts. And bro definitely did that. This was a good game, a good gauge game for us. Coach Udoka had said in a previous interview, post-game interview, that OKC would be a great barometer for the team to see where they're at, to go on the road in hostile territory, to be able to beat the Thunder at home, at their home, which is a hard place to win. Oklahoma City is a hard place to go and get a victory. For our team is historically this year been one of the worst road teams in a while. And to go there, you see the contrast now. I think we've won 4 out of the 10 wins are on the road against some pretty good competition. And to me, what this game does versus the Thunder, it does validate the previous stretch, because, you could see that we were a dominant team in that stretch, but the competition was weak, right? You had Washington a couple of times, the Spurs. You had, all these kind of like boo-boo teams, Portland a couple of times. But to see it translate over to an actual team that is well coached, and it was a great chess match between the Thunder and the Rockets going through the whole night. It was really, really it was really good. That was some high-level playoff basketball seeing from the Rockets, and you love to see that, bro, for them to be able to execute the game plan. One thing I noticed from the game is Fred VanVleet leadership. He was coaching them boys up on the sidelines the whole game. Just exciting, man. Don't y'all miss that feeling? I miss this. I'm not going to lie, bro. I miss this feeling of watching games that meant something. It's been so many years, bro, for us to be able to crawl out of this, even though we're just a 10th seed, you know what I mean? But for us, in context, and Ime has said it before, because they had asked him in this game post-game presser, basically they were having celebrations about the 10 in a row, and they were asking him do you understand like the feeling of this and why it's such a momentous occasion? he basically said, well, I wasn't here for the 3 years, but I get it. Given what happened over the past few years, winning these many games should be a reason to celebrate for this franchise. And it is like 17 wins, 20 wins. Like it's been a long journey to get to this point for us. And this point doesn't mean we're going to win a ring. I know some other fan bases are probably going to troll us like we won a championship, but I think what these past few games in the post All-Star break has really shown the team is giving you a vision of what the future could be, right? And what the future could be. You have young stars budding. Jaylen is showing that he is a star in this league. You have Alperen Sengun, who showed he is a star in this league. You got young guys like Tari Eason, Amen Thompson, showing that they're going to be players. You got Jabari showing. I know Jabari's struggling, but he showed his third-year leap is going to be crazy, by the way. I'm throwing that out there. Jabari's third year is going to be nuts. But they're showing you all these things, and you haven't even scratched the surface of building this roster yet. So whether we make the play-in or not, you know what I mean, I still think that these games are valuable. What we just experienced is essentially a playoff game for the Rockets because they know that if they lose and the Warriors are winning, then we're out, right? So every game is a must win. Not saying we're going to win every game. Obviously, Golden State's going to lose some games too, but you got to win games like this on the road in enemy territory, and they did just that. Shout out to Coach Udoka for coaching up a hell of a game. Just pressing the right buttons, calling the right timeouts. The 2 timeouts back-to-back in the fourth quarter to give the guys an extended rest was clutch. That's a coach that knows his team, right? That's the coach that knows his team. Just the back and forth between him and Daigneault. That is some high-level basketball that you saw. And the Thunder, they didn't make it easy. Like those boys, they could play. That's a great team over there. They run a lot of split action. I was watching, ironically, today, watching the JJ Redick and LeBron podcast. They were talking about some of the hardest actions to guard is split action, especially the way the Warriors run it. If you guys have watched some of my older videos, I've talked about split action before ad nauseum. So, but being able to guard that with different bodies and then responding by not only getting stops, running in transition, and making big shots in the half court. One thing you did see in this game is that our offense does bog down. And if Jaylen isn't in there, then it kind of gets ugly. But they made enough plays to be able to do it. And once again, we are only scratching the surface of this team. We're missing, roughly 24 points and 12 rebounds in Sengun. Tari Eason, you're missing an all-world defender. You're missing Cam Whitmore, who could give you 20 points off the bench in a 10-minute stretch. And just doing this with guys like Reggie Bullocks and Jeff Green, who got destroyed. Uncle Jeff got posterized, bro. That's one of them how did I get here? Should I be retired type of dunks. But we're just doing this off of just a bunch of vets and a couple of young guys. You got a rookie, Amen Thompson, starting Jabari, who's playing hard, not having the best games, and you're still able to eke out wins. Think about when the roster is complete, when you add a couple pieces, when you have some chemistry going into this offseason. Guys get to play another offseason, train together. You get to lift more weights. Jaylen puts on more muscle. Alp gets more toned. Amen gets a dribbling package going on. Jabari adds more bulk, gets stronger. Coach Doka learns these guys a little bit more. There's so much upside to this team right now. Plus, you have the Brooklyn situation. They're imploding over there. We have their picks. You still have some cap flexibility if you were able to move off of players like Londale or Jeff or Steven Adams. That's up to the team. To me, if the player is available at those spots, then you make that move, right? If you have a player that is available at those spots, you got to make those moves to improve the roster. The way I see it, I see this as an opportunity for the Rockets before we have to pay these kids is if you can improve your roster to the point where you're adding high-level role players, go ahead and do it, because I see it as the NFL when you got a rookie quarterback that is, all pro, or a young quarterback like a CJ Stroud that, this kid could win a Super Bowl for us. That's what I see with Jaylen and Alperen, right? It's good to build a team around them early before you start throwing out money, because it gets real tight with the CBA. So if I was the Rockets, personally for me, you could thread the needle between slow playing this and letting them develop chemistry and all that, and still replace some of the Tates of the world with some or just kick them down the bench and bring in some guys that can really give you meaningful minutes and high leverage moments, and you will trust them to do so, because there's levels to the NBA, right? We trying to sneak into that upper room, the upper echelon of the NBA. It could happen in the blink of an eye. One playoff run could take you to a championship. The Suns went to the bubble, won 8 in a row. They were in the finals next year. Golden State lost to Memphis in the first round series. They in the finals the next year. It happens just like that. You can go from a guy that's, a nice up and coming player to an all NBA player in one season. You just got to be ready and capitalize on those situations. But for the team playing in these high leverage moments leading up to that Golden State game on April 4th, which will be a movie. It will be a movie. I might have to be in the house for that. That is going to be, oh my God, the poetry in that game. Can you think about it? If we were able to knock off Golden State on that game, take a lead over them in the standings, not only knock them off en route to sending them into a tailspin. I don't know what they're going to do. They're going to have to make decisions about their roster. And then we be facing the LeBron and the Lakers in the play-in. And if we're able to do the sweep of beating Golden State in the regular season and then taking out LA out of the playoffs, then man, that'll be a storybook ending. But this has just been a wonderful end to the season. I think personally for me, and I said this before, that January slump was fatigue. You can't tell me otherwise. They were playing great to start the year, pretty good, and then they just crashed out because they slumped. They got tired, legs got tired, guys weren't hitting shots. And the All-Star break gave them an opportunity to rest their legs. You got guys coming back. For young guys, it's not just resting their legs, also rest their mind, right? You get to really let all that teaching sink into you, and now you're able to process a little bit better. And for guys that are like Jaylen and the Şengün's, the third-year players, that's a different leap within after the All-Star break than a rookie. But you still see the leap nonetheless. But, just a wonderful stretch for Jaylen. I would say the most impressive thing that I've seen from him, despite all the scoring and all the stuff he's been doing, is the mental approach, the focus. This is, to me, the biggest, if I said there was one thing that I'm most excited about for Jaylen, is I already knew he could do all this because we've seen him score. The defense definitely has been good this year for a couple of months now. The rebounding has been good for about a month or two. But the mental approach to the game, the focus, the night in, night out, I'm attacking regardless of what the defense is going to do. I'm going to attack. I'm going to do my job. And all of this coming out of the context of all the scrutiny, all the bad publicity, whether it was the J Gup video, whether it was, finding out about Drea or he's playing bad, worst player in the league at some point. All of that to come out of this stretch, basically put your head down and get in and grind, bro. That tells you that there's a different mentality about him. And to me, that's the stuff that moves me, right? The 30 bombs don't move me. And I'm going to be consistent from start to finish. The 40% from three, that moves me a little bit, but it doesn't move me like that, right? The 60 true shooting, that does not move me, because at the end of the day, winners win. And that's what we've been seeing from him. He's been making winning plays when he isn't scoring. And when you can do that, y'all know my rules about scoring. Scoring in a vacuum. What I mean by in a vacuum means if that's all you do is a bucket, that's cool. That's icing on the cake. But I can't trust you in my franchise if all you do is score. But when you're scoring, you're clamping up on defense, you're rebounding, you're playmaking, that's a different conversation. That's a different. See, y'all gonna make me bring Bean back out on the table, but I'm not. I'm gonna hold that off. I'm gonna give him. I'm gonna make a promise with y'all. I'll put Bean on the table for him if he does this to start next year. But right now, the Booker is there. I mean, he's hooping now. That Booker, he's surpassed any of the Zach LaVines, because Zach LaVine ain't playmaking. Jalen's always been a better passer than Zach LaVine. I never liked that comp. Even as a general, they're two different players. But we talking about Booker, like top 2-3 guard in the NBA level, is definitely up there for him as a potential outcome. For him now, I don't care about the high resolution scoring. Like, that stuff is really, really important, and they need him to do that right now. Like, when we are coming in next season with a full roster, I need this dog to take us to the playoffs, bro. That is what I want to see. I want to see this dog carry this team. with his brothers, with Şengün, with Jabari Amen, et cetera, et cetera. How do we get these guys together to play as a collective to maximize their talent? And that's going to be on Coach Udoka. That's going to be on Coach Udoka. He got to unlock everybody's talent, because in order for us to be that D word, that dynasty, it's not just going to be Jaylen dropping 30 every night. That's going to drag us to a 6, 7 seed, 8 seed. If you want to be one of the elite teams in the NBA, you need guys that can hoop, and you need guys that can hoop together with synergy and playing high IQ basketball. And if they can unlock Jabari, I still don't think we're using him correctly. Men Thompson, I like how they've been using him. There's a lot more there. Obviously, we've seen Şengün. I think it's uncreative how we've used him. And Jaylen, I still think he's taking a lot of hard shots. How do we unlock everybody, make this thing easy that no team can stop us? That is going to be the next step. But this run right now is special. Enjoy it. We deserve it. As a fan base, we've been through a lot. As a fan base, we've seen a lot. As a fan base, a lot of losing in a 3-year span. And thank God for Coach Udoka, because I think a lot of credit goes to him. There's a photo of Tillman Fertitta congratulating him in the hallway at the Oklahoma City, like in the where the locker rooms are. Shout out to him, man. Dude was a transcendent hire. Shout out to Stone for staying out of the way. You know what I mean? Y'all know I don't give Stone a lot of credit, but I will say that, he said himself, his job is in the offseason, and Ime is the one that gets the season. So we're going to hold him by his words. He stayed out the way. We haven't heard no stories about him interrupting practice, because obviously I don't think Udoka would even allow that. But for him to be able to put together a staff like this, and with Tillman's guidance, also be able to bring in some of the players like Londell, who was hooping. Londell's a sneaky good passer, by the way. A new development for me about him. That's a good job by him. I'm going to judge Stone, because you guys think I hate him. I just love the Rockets, by what he does with this team this offseason, because to me, this is a pivotal offseason for our franchise. And we can go in one or two directions. You could stalemate, or you could up the level. And usually when teams like ours up the level from these type of runs, I ain't going to hold y'all, bro. We talking about top 4 seed. Outright top 4 seed in the West. Because some of these teams getting old. You look around the West, you see the Suns, KD and them getting old. You see Clippers, you see Harden. He got 5 points, 2 turnovers in a game. Kawhi's knee is flaring up. LeBron talking about he pick his spots on his podcast, that he can't do it, that his tires have got too much tread on them. You know what I mean? Yeah, they got a couple of young teams. You got the Pelicans. You got, Dallas maybe. But it's a lot of old heads in the West, bro. So it's wide open. And, we got OKC's number, and they're one of the top teams right now. You feel me? You bringing in Steven Adams. Maybe you don't bring. Maybe you move him. I don't know. Maybe you bring in another type of big man. Maybe we could face up against the Minnesotas of the world, right? You still got a Memphis coming back around. We see what we can do with San Antonio. We got a guy that could drop 45 on Wemby's head. So I ain't going to lie. The West is open. Golden State is falling out of grace. The West is open. The West may be ours to come. But y'all let me know, man. How did you feel about this game? Wasn't this like a revelation of just like, damn, I missed this? And I definitely felt like that. I needed this. We needed this. This stretch of games. It's truly been exciting. Can't wait for the next game. We got Utah coming up, then Dallas, I think, then Minnesota. I might have that backwards. I think it's Utah, Dallas, Minnesota, or some order of those 3 teams. I say for us to keep our playing hopes alive, we have to go 3-1. I gave us the Thunder win. I did. And I think that Minnesota is going to be the tough one. Dallas at home, I think we beat them at home, then we lose to them on the road after we play Golden State. We have to win that Warriors game. We have to. But y'all let me know. What did you think about the game? Are you convinced that Jaylen can sustain this for an entire season? And also, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. Keep rocking with the Chop Shop, and we're going to keep dropping that fire.